Hi, I'm Moriah Costa and I'm a messy artist. I am an American, but I live in sunny Madrid in Spain. I've been living here since September. Before that, I lived in London where I got my master's in financial journalism. I'm a financial journalist by day and an artist by night, or part-time artist as I like to tell my friends. I've never wanted to be an actual artist like as a profession. I've always I've always wanted to be a writer ever since I was in third grade and I read My Little Pony series. I always wanted to write novels or just tell stories, and so I found that through journalism, and I found that I have kind of a weird knack for understanding economic data, so that's kind of what I do in my day-to-day job. But I have always also made art. So my mom is an artist, and growing up, whenever I got bored, she would hand me a paintbrush and some watercolors or some pencils or some sewing materials to make some dresses for my dolls. So I've always been creating, and I actually made my first art journal when I was 12 years old. Before I even knew what it was, I guess it was kind of more like a smash journal. And I was always creating something, whether it was jewelry, sewing, creating travel journals as well. When I went to London for the first time when I was 16, I made a travel journal as part of that trip. And I also, in high school, I actually convinced some of my high school teachers to let me create my final project through an altered book. So in particular, I did one on the Green Knight, an old medieval story that I redid. And I also did one on love letters between in Les Miserables. So I kind of rewrote some of the love letters in that story and created an altered kind of photo album book from that. So I've always been creating. I kind of took a break in college. I was really busy and was traveling a lot and doing other things. So I decided after I was living in Washington and was working full time, and I really loved my job, but it didn't have the same type of creativity that I was really looking for. So I decided to do something creative, and I started an Instagram account and Illustrated Life of Mer. So I started out with bullet journaling. I started doing kind of creative bullet journaling and was posting some photos of, ways of doing creative journaling with some collage and different things. And I started following some people, and one of those people was Misty. And she was always liking my stuff and commenting, and she actually bought one of a zine that I made, which I was really excited for. Like, she was the first person who actually bought something I made, and she was always talking about this thing called Get Messy art journaling. And so I looked it up one day, and I was like, this seems interesting, and this is the kind of stuff that I used to do, so why not join up? I figured originally I planned on just signing up for like a few months, but I realized it was so amazing and the community was so great and everyone was so welcoming that I decided to stay. And here I am now on the creative team for 2018. I would describe my style as kind of vintage inspired, but with also a dash of bright colors. I was very inspired during my time in London by all of the bright colors that are all around. It seems kind of ironic because London it isn't really a bright place. It's very dark and there's a lot of fog, but a lot of people there, a lot of artists have a lot of really bright colors. Their buildings have really great collages and murals on them, and the street art in Brick Lane is very bright and vibrant, and that really kind of inspired my own style today. But I've also always had this love for vintage and vintage images ever since since I started making art, started doing collage when I was a kid. I've always been drawn to vintage, like Victorian style images and just old paper and old books and altered books and things like that, and old stationery. So a lot of that you'll see is kind of has inspired my art and kind of what I feel drawn to, and I tend to surround myself with those types of things. I'm really excited for this next year, and I'm so excited to learn with you and grow with you, and I hope that I can help inspire you to create more art and show you that, you know, anyone really can be an artist. You don't have to be professional, and you can find time, no matter how busy you are. You can always find time, whether it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes a day or even a week, to create something that's meaningful to you.